This is October 17th, 2025. Good day, friends. This is Hypothetically Speaking, the voice of Janesville and Rock County, where civic literacy meets common sense. Today's commentary asks one simple question. How many strikes does it take before public trust is out of the game? Because here at home, our scoreboard is showing a troubling pattern. 3 clear strikes against transparency. Let's take a look at the lineup. Strike 1, secrecy at the GM JATCO site. City officials have refused to release key details about development proposals for the former General Motors property. They say non-disclosure agreements tie their hands. But when public land, public infrastructure, and public incentives are on the table, the public has a right to know. Wisconsin's open records law doesn't whisper, it shouts. Openness is the default. And yet, no names, no proposals, no costs, and no sunlight. When referees ignore fouls and coaches make their own rules, the public pays for the game, and they didn't choose to be here. Let's go to strike number 2, the insider breakfast. You've heard of it, the private morning meeting co-hosted by Forward Janesville and our city manager. Invitation only, private dining, selective access. That's not civic engagement, that's VIP governance. Only after pushback did the hosts open the door to anyone. But by then the message was clear. If you're not on the list, you're not in the loop. Policy talk in private, power in select company. That may be breakfast for some, but it's indigestion for democracy. Strike 3, the toothless committees. The so-called advisory committees are yet another act in the same play. Boards formed without authority, members hand-picked for loyalty, meetings held for show and not for substance. As one internal message put it, quote, "You serve as the city's representative and our expectation is that you will support the city's position," end quote. That's not dialogue, that's direction. A committee without power is not participation, it's performance. Let's go to strike 4, the JATV takeover. And in Janesville's version of the game, apparently the innings never really end. Last year, the city manager unilaterally took control of JATV, our community's public access station. He called it his prerogative. No hearing, no notice, no plan. One stroke of the pen and decades of public independence vanished. A dissenting library board member who questioned the move was quietly not reappointed. And when the appointments committee challenged the maneuver, the city manager threatened to dismantle that committee altogether. Public access was meant to give citizens a voice, not to become another channel for controlling messaging. In this town, the camera may still be rolling, but fewer citizens are behind it. The final score, 3 strikes should end the inning, but in Janesville, the game keeps going. The cost of secrecy isn't just in headlines. It's in lost confidence, muted voices, and fading civic pride. Accountability isn't adversarial, it's oxygen for a democracy. And it's time that we opened a few windows. Let's see. Let's look at the transparency scorecard. GM JATCO redevelopment, grade D. Insider's breakfast, grade C-. JATV takeover, that's a flat F. And the advisory committees, that's a D-. 4 plays, 4 fouls, and not a single home run for public trust. Let's go to a post-game commentary. The league of accountability, as they say. In this extended ball game, Janesville's leadership has rewritten the civic contract. Power has become the pitcher, the umpire, and the scorekeeper, all rolled into one. But every good team knows you can't win if the fans stop believing the game is fair. A thought for the day. Democracy is a team sport, not a one-man show with a locked dugout. And if this really is our trilogy of transparency, then this week marks the start of extra innings, because it's not that the crowd stopped caring, it's that the game stopped counting strikes. Stay engaged. Rock County Civics Academy. Follow our civic workshops, our local forums, and future essays at rockcountycivicsacademy.org. Subscribe at Hypothetically Speaking on Substack for weekly insights on governance, policy, and community renewal. From Wisconsin's heartland to America's horizon, let's make civic literacy local again. How? Let's go to a next coffee corner question for you to consider. Here's one to really brew over. A true democracy thrives not in the shadows of insider networks, but in the daylight of open dialogue. Try this one on. Transparency is not an obstacle to progress. It's the foundation of progress. So why not join us at Havana Coffee for our next discussion? You bring your own questions and we'll bring the caffeine. We did get a letter from a listener. It seems like it ought to be simple, but I'm going to guess that there must be a catch, right? Dear Hypothetically Speaking, if I want to see documents the city of Janesville has, say about the GM site or a new project, how do I ask for them? And what happens if they just say no? Curious in Rock County. Okay. Our response. Curious, your right to know is here. Transparency isn't optional. It's the cornerstone of public trust. In Wisconsin, our open records law guarantees every citizen the right to inspect public documents, contracts, emails, requests for proposals, notes, anything created in public business. To request records, just email the city clerk. Plain English works just fine. For example, I request copies of all proposals submitted in response to the GM redevelopment RFP. Okay, the city must respond as soon as practical without delay. And if they deny you, they must give a reason in writing. And no, non-disclosure agreements can't override public law. If they refuse, you can go to the Rock County DA's office or even file in circuit court. If a judge rules in your favor, the city may have to pay your costs. The more we ask, the more open our institutions become. Public information belongs to the public. It's that simple. So keep asking. Keep shining light into the corners of power. Our community spotlight this week rests on Havana Coffee. If you're looking for a place to reflect on your civic journey or just fuel up before a council meeting, stop at Havana Coffee on Milton Avenue. That's where espresso meets engagement, where ideas percolate and conversations matter. We thank Danella and her team for supporting civic learning and community journalism. Another sponsor salute, Nowlin Law Firm. Thanks to attorney Tim Landau and the Nowlin Law Firm, they're championing civic education and ethical leadership across Rock County. Together with partners like these, we're building a culture of engagement that honors both tradition and transformation. Some final reflections. Where ideas meet action, that's where democracy lives. What if transparency were the norm, not the exception? What if civic engagement became Rock County's defining strength? Every moment begins when someone out there decides, hey, now is the time? Well, that someone could well be you. Our call to leadership, it's not about ego. It's about service, listening deeply, acting with purpose. Here's 3 ways to start. Volunteer with a civic group, serve on a local board, or run for public office. If not you, who? If not now, when? Subscribe for insight every Friday. Hypothetically Speaking explores the intersection of policy, people, and possibility, inviting dialogue and celebrating civic courage. You can find us on Substack. Just search Rock County Civics Academy. Some final thoughts. Democracy is a skill, one that strengthens with practice. Okay? Stay curious, stay engaged, stay connected, because the next chapter of the Rock County story is being written right now. And that story depends on you. This has been Hypothetically Speaking, a civic forum of the Rock County Civics Academy. From Wisconsin's heartland to America's horizon, thanks for listening, and keep the lights of democracy burning bright. Stay informed, stay involved, and you will make a difference in your hometown community. Have a great day.